Prince Xizor is canon again. The first issue of Crimson Reign mentioned the leader of Black Sun for the very first time in a Star Wars story since, I think, 2013. A lot of fans my age were dismayed about Shadows of the Empire being classified as legends back when it happened, and yet Black Sun was still part of the canon thanks to its appearances in the Clone Wars. Not only that, but the leaders of Black Sun were still members of the Fallen species just like Xizor. I felt like he was so close to being canon, but I'd begun to give up hope that we would ever see him again, until now. For anyone unfamiliar with Xizor, he was the primary villain of the 1996 video game Shadows of the Empire, which took place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. As the leader of the Black Sun criminal syndicate, he developed a plan to assassinate Luke Skywalker, which would weaken Darth Vader's position at the Emperor's side. He of course failed and was killed in a battle between his own forces, the Empire, and the Rebel Alliance above Coruscant. He appeared in several other legend stories, but those are the most relevant details. He has returned to the Star Wars universe in the new comic Crimson Reign, which also takes place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and it also features an upheaval in the criminal underworld. Qi'ra is the leader of Crimson Dawn, and her ultimate goal is to dethrone the Sith from their position of power at the top of the galaxy. She wants to redistribute that power. The start of her plan is to create chaos across the galaxy by manipulating various criminal organizations into fighting each other. Black Sun is one of the syndicates she meets with, and she personally manipulates Lord Gyuti, who appeared as part of Black Sun leadership in the Clone Wars, but she tells him to pass along her information to Prince Xizor. Her allies later attack a drug refinery that is said to be important to Xizor's future plans, and that's the event that sparks distrust among the other syndicates. So that's all we've been given for now, just 2 little mentions, but it's something. I should point out that Xizor was apparently recently mentioned in a Black Spire Outpost cookbook, which I do suppose is canon adjacent, but a story mention is a lot more exciting and meaningful, and I do think there is potential for him to actually appear in Crimson Reign or the follow-up comic series, The Hidden Empire, although I'm not getting my hopes up. Now, because I know people are going to ask, because it was one of my first thoughts, do I think Prince Xizor will appear in the Book of Boba Fett? Is this a tease for an even bigger return? I really doubt it. Don't get me wrong, I would love that. When the first trailer for the Book of Boba Fett dropped, for a split second, I thought a Feline was in it. And if the story is going to be dealing with the criminal underworld, I want it to deal with known criminal syndicates rather than make up a completely new list. So I want to see Black Sun and the Pikes and the Hutts in the Book of Boba Fett, but so far Crimson Reign is making me think that's pretty unlikely. We're only 1 issue in, but like I said, it's very much about causing war and chaos between all the syndicates. The Hutt Council was wiped out at the end of the War of the Bounty Hunters. Black Sun and the Pikes might be next. The story also teases that Crimson Reign is about the fall of Crimson Dawn, not its rise, like the name would imply. I get the feeling the Hutts, the Pikes, Black Sun, and Crimson Dawn might not make it out of this story in great shape, and this series might be rationalizing why we don't see any of them in the Book of Boba Fett. This is complete speculation on my part, but I'm learning more and more that when characters appear in the books and comics, it's often a sign that they won't be in live action. Like Phasma, who got a great book and comic in the lead up to The Last Jedi. Those stories were written because she was barely in the movie and definitely would not be in Episode 9. They weren't written to build up hype for her upcoming appearance, they were written because she was safe to write about, so to speak. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just my best guess for now. In the case of Qi'ra or Xizor, while I don't think they'll be appearing in live-action projects that take place later in the timeline, I still think there's a chance we could see them in a live-action solo sequel of some kind. I still think that's on the table, and if that never happens, I'm still really digging Crimson Reign right now. I thought War of the Bounty Hunters as a whole was up and down, but this new miniseries already feels like it has more focus. It feels like it's elevating the comics and telling a big and important story. Hopefully the next 4 issues continue to prove me right. But that's it for today. I was just so psyched to see Xizor's name back on the page and in the same era that introduced him in the first place. Let me know what you think of his return in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.